Now, what I'm going to do is talk very, very briefly about a psychological concept called the tripartite brain, which a chap called Steve Peters brought to light in his book, The Chimp Paradox, and he does it far, far better than I do. But what he's talking about, or what he's starting to touch upon, is evolutionary psychology, which is very, very much in its infancy. So really, really simply, and I'm going to try and do this in about 2 minutes. There are 3 parts of the brain, okay? There's the chimpanzee, there's the human, and then there is the computer, okay? And you can watch this, or you can see the blood moving from these different geographical parts of the brain, okay? You can actually see this happen. Right now, okay, we are all observing the rules of society, okay? So I'm using my human brain, I'm applying logic, I'm behaving in a way that you would expect, and as are you, all right? And all the attention, all the focus, and all the cameras and everything are on me, and that's kind of fine, okay? My medic is sat in the audience here, all right? He was my medic when I was in my last job doing the counter-piracy stuff, okay? Now, I'm not going to embarrass him. I'm not going to get him to stand up or anything like that, but he knows where he is, obviously. Just by saying that, okay, what I've done with him is take the blood from the human part of his brain to the chimp part of his brain, okay? Because he's now thinking, Mike, don't worry, I'm not going to make you stand up. He's now thinking, oh my word, if he makes me stand up or do something, everyone's going to be looking at me. And from an evolutionary perspective, that is awful, all right? Lots and lots of eyes looking at you is a bad thing, because this part of your brain that is driven through evolution, this chimp part, basically is like, well, I'm about to get eaten, or I'm about to get kicked out of the tribe. So either way, I'm going to die. So it fires a stress response. So it's really interesting, because I've done a lot of these sorts of things, and I still get that stress response when I'm outside, the dry throat, the racing heartbeat. That still happens, okay? And that is part of my chimp brain racing, okay? Because I don't want to get it wrong. That's basically what happens. Now, the human brain we've talked about. The computer is the part of the brain that controls the things you basically know how to do, okay? So none of you think about ironing a shirt. None of you think about driving. You get in your car, you can have a complex conversation on the phone on the way home. When you first learned to drive, you couldn't do that. You were like, just stop talking to me. I've got to work out which one of these pedals I need to press and not stall the car or drive it into the curb, okay? It requires all of your cognitive function, all of your human brain, in order to get it into the computer. Someone cuts you off, and then the chimp wakes up, okay? And it's like, damn you. And you're angry. It's ridiculous. But it's true. And people get killed in road rage all the time for that reason. Because what happens is, the way it works is the chimp sits there quietly, but he's watching all the information going in through your head. And he's asking this one question. Again, this is really simplified, but he's asking, am I safe? Am I safe? Am I safe? Am I safe? If the answer is yes, he goes, right, computer and human, you can take over. And they can work quite well together. The moment the answer is no, he gets upset, and he fires a fight, flight, or freeze response. And we each have a preference for these, depending on what we've learned and what works well for us. So often in sessions where you're dealing with, or you're having a conversation with someone who's grown up with parents who've suffered from alcoholism, okay? When they are faced with conflict, their natural inclination is to move towards freezing. The reason being is because when they're faced with conflict or a situation where they feel they might get hurt, okay, that chimp wakes up and goes, right, this is how you have to respond to this. And if you have volatile parents who are suffering from alcoholism, one of the best ways to respond to that is to just remain hidden, okay? And this comes out in the office or in the world all the time. So when you're having a difficult conversation with someone about feedback of their performance, they just totally shut down. And they'll just do anything they can to get away from you. This is why when people are under long-term stress, they often don't come to work. It's just this, just running away. It's just the flight response in this instance. And some people get taught to fight back, all right? You see this all the time in road rage. You just spend enough time driving and you'll see people It's basically two chimp brains smashing up against each other. And people kill each other over it, okay? It's all because of this guy. Now, you can learn to manage that, and if you're interested in this sort of stuff, I suggest that you sort of read the book. There are various strategies that you can apply in order for you to be able to perform, okay?